One of the things I was really excited about when we were planning this year was to introduce an award, and we've called it the Difference Maker Award. Another reason for the theme this year. What is the Difference Maker Award? The Difference Maker Award is presented by Reynolds Jet. It says each year, it's the first year, the inaugural award to an individual organization deemed to have made a significant and sustained contribution to the business aviation community. Significant and sustained. There are two very important words in there. So let me tell you a little bit about this young fella right here. Founder and chairman of Sportsman's Market and Sporties Academy, Hal Shevers earned his private pilot's certificate back in 1958. In the early days of Sporties, Hal supplemented his income by giving flight and ground instruction. He was the pioneer of the 3-day ground school, and you developed that in 1963. You started teaching that through the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association in 1966. This is all still before I was born. Hal was awarded the Boy Scouts Distinguished Eagle for his lifetime achievements in aviation. Hal is himself a proud Eagle Scout. In 2007, Hal was inducted into the National Association of Flight Instructors Hall of Fame for recognition of his over 40 years of flight as a flight instructor and producer of educational materials for pilots of all levels. This year, 2016, marks the 50th year that Hal has held an airline transport pilot certificate. We are proud he is a local aviator, and many of us in this room have either been a product or worked with graduates of Sporties Academy. Aviation in the Cincinnati area is much richer, but his legacy stretches far beyond Claremont County Airport. Reynolds Jet could think of no one better suited to receive this inaugural Difference Maker Award, Hal Shevers. And I'll ask Mercer if you can present that to Hal. And Hal, we thank you for decades, literally decades of involvement in this industry. Hal is a difference maker, and we are proud, and we should all be proud that he is part of this community here. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Hal, and he is going to, I'm sure, tell us a few stories. Thank you, Hal.
Thank you. I think you can hear me in back or get up there. I don't need the speaker off your wall right up there. I want to say this all I did was facilitate, bring together some of the sharpest people in aviation to bring Sporties where it is now. Maybe the first 10, 20 years it was one way, but now it's other people do things better than I've ever been able to do.
Other way, Hal.
My presentation is...
other way, yeah.
Know what's wrong.
We're going back in time.
Got it.
You got it, you got it.
Okay. First of all, I want to tell you that any department head of any company that wasn't here today really does a great presentation. It's really complimenting people, making them, bringing the best in them, following them around till you can say something good to them. You look for this. I mean, people come to work for you. I think of someone we hired, we advertised for an assistant plant engineer. This kid came on right out of college. After about 3 or 4 days, he wanted to know, well, who is the plant engineer? And we said, we don't have one. He just looked, I said, we're not going to let you fail. But you would never have applied for that job if we said we were looking for a plant engineer. He's with us, well, he's with us over 20 years now. Oh, I use this slide here. This is how old I am. Same year I was born, Fort Washington Bridge, DC-3, Mickey Mouse. Hey, the Wright brothers sold 113 years ago. I've been flying a little over half of them. It's really, it's unbelievable. Okay, I'm going to run through this. It wasn't easy to get where Sporty's is now. Our first year in business, I think we did $42,000 worth of business. Second year, we did about $75,000. Great improvement. We sat around waiting for the first day. We got 10 orders. Now we ship an average of 2,000 orders a day. Okay, how did we get there? Eagle Scout, went to Purdue to get an engineering degree. Between my junior and senior year, well, I shouldn't lie. It was I was on the decelerator plan. So between my senior year and my ninth semester, I had a summer job as Sikorsky aircraft. First thing in aviation. Learned two things there. I didn't belong in anyone's engineering department. And two, there was a waiver process for my blind eye. In the afternoons, I'd be out on the ramp. The only other one that I'd be hiding from Igor Sikorsky himself, who was just looking at these ships, trying to make it better and better. Okay, came back to Purdue, immediately joined the Purdue Flying Club, soloed in the J3, then moved up into the Super Cruiser, get some speed. Okay, from there, Cincinnati, worked for Cincinnati Milling Machine. While I was at the mill, I went into the service. Believe it or not, they gave me an honorable discharge. And from there, I also bought an airplane with another fellow who was an engineer at General Electric's engine plant. Okay, we had a fast plane, a Cessna 170. We had to go somewhere. Fast plane, so we went to Acapulco. 16 hours each way. We learned a lot. Okay, also at the same time, a patriot came up with this radio and showed it to me and picked up a control tower on low freight. At any rate, sourced it, and that was the beginning of Hal's business selling things to pilots. Hang around the Sky Valley at night and sell them. Put an ad in Trade a Plane. People started sending me checks. I had no idea what I was doing. Got fired from Cincinnati Milling. Said, I'm going to be a flight instructor. Down to Logan Airport, down to Aero Services, down the South Line. This hangar's still there. And we bought ourselves a Piper Full. This building is still down at the South Line. It's hard to find. It's behind Air Tolan. But it's there now, and this was my first flight school. And the first time we're using the slogan, learn to fly here. Notice the two girls to the left. One is Martha Frank, 18 years old, learning to fly. On the very right is the skinny kid, about 25 years old. I think that's me. Okay. Started giving flight instruction, actually instrument instruction. My students were World War II pilots in general who had bought a Bonanza, a Rangemaster, a Cessna 210. They found out they didn't have to scud run. So that was what I was doing. It was a great business, World War II pilots. The headset all of a sudden came along. Everyone picked up the microphone, used the cabin speaker. I said, well, if you get a headset just like these NASA guys are using, I think you'll more than pay for that headset in the time you save getting a respirator. So once again, I guess I was always kind of entrepreneurial. One of my students, one of my instrument students, was Al Pacell. How many of you received some kind of instruction or a flight test? Al Pacell. Well, about a third of the room. It's very interesting. Al's passed away now, but in the first 3-day ground school. And had a student who said, I'm not going to go to class one night a week for a year to get my instrument rating. And so we put on a weekend school and it worked all 4 pedals. Okay, from there, we sold the program to AOPA, and it was my first real financial success. We went around the country. It was just amazing. There were all these people who had some connection with aviation from World War II, which incidentally was fought BFR. I mean, it was a BFR operation. So they were looking for inspirators. And it worked out very well. Sporties had to move out of the terminal building where we started and off across the street. Let me tell you, while we're giving these 3-day schools, doing well, we had a couple of Aztecs we travel around the country in. This is kind of interesting. Narco was a key player in avionics. Came up with this program of rotating navigation, off-course computer, dial in a radial, dial in a distance, and you could move the VOR to where you wanted to go, essentially. Anyhow, one night coming back from Lafayette, I told me, well, it was the first time we'd flown the plane. And I told the controller, hey, we can go from Shelbyville to Red Lincoln. You can. How are you going to do that? I said, not only that, I can give you my DME mileage from Lincoln the whole way. So, anyhow, later on, over the Cincinnati approach, they wanted to know how we were doing it. We told them we had electronically moved the Cincinnati VOR over to London. Well, a couple seconds later, controller supervisor comes on. We've got 2 other aircraft coming up from the south navigating to the Cincinnati VOR. Do we have to tell them that you've moved the VOR? I mean, this is how new it was. I mean, it's amazing. People ask me today, what's the greatest thing you've seen since you started flying? It's easy. It's the nose gear. Think about it. It did more for us than anything. Okay, then out to Batavia for sporties. We wanted to build a Lunken. They didn't have room for us, so we went out there. The yellow part of the building, the lower part of that building, is the original part, 5,000 square feet. When we moved out of it, we kept adding on, it was 32,000 square feet. Now we have 300,000 square feet of hangar and building. Here's one of the best things that happened in my whole flying career, and that was University of Cincinnati called and said, are you interested in working with us and having a flight training program? Well, the answer wasn't yes, it was hell yes. And you can see what's happened. Well, I was lucky enough that at the time we had Joe Forbeck and Dick Collins working with us, and we were able to just handle it perfectly. This picture is when Dick Collins, Joe Forbeck, and I did 100 hours of flight instruction. Here's our flight line. Here's our simulator inside. Incidentally, in a simulator like this with no motion, you can do a full aerobatic routine. Very interesting. Rudy Frasca himself did it right here. Okay, we also have the air park. Here I am reminiscing in my office, trying to figure out, there's all this little devil in me, and what can we do to mess up the highway patrol? But without hurting anybody, we got to keep it safe. But I always think about things like that. Okay, over the years, and we've gotten several awards. There's Flying Magazine for our DVD courses, which we jumped on in 2001. Here we had all this video shot at broadcast quality. We put it on a tape, and it would degrade. And as soon as DVD came out, wow, we jumped on it, and award for our handheld AVCOM. There's more power there than in, I'd say, half the GA fleet. Okay, we also got an award here very recently. This is for our ADS-B receiver, the Stratus, which is just a miracle. And I got to say, when our younger people, the next generation that really runs our place, said something about this ADS-B, I said, forget it, it's going nowhere. So you can see why I have younger, better people. It's there. Got an award a couple of years ago from NBAA for we've been flying business aircraft 50 years, and anyhow, I was one. Here's our aviation exploring post, which I believe most in used to be called the Air Scouts. Now they're aviation explorers. Here they are on tour down in Lumpkin. Yeah, we make a big thing of a solo. How many people in this world have flown an airplane by themselves around the patch? I mean, it's a very small amount. And I don't care if you're going to be a crop duster or a 747 captain. You've got to solo. And that is the biggest thing. And we make a big thing of it just like they used to. Short tail gets cut off. Flight instructor decorates it. A couple of weeks later, they'll get it back in a frame with the picture. Just soloists, get them solo. Sporty's Foundation, good for $150,000 a year in grants, specializing in, I shouldn't say specializing, but our main point is to promote the next generation of aviators and the people who design, build, and maintain the aircraft we fly. We also have 3 other catalogs besides the pilot shop. Here's one of my favorite new projects. Here's what we call one of our remanufactured 172s. Look at the instrumentation of it. It wouldn't have any avionics in it if I had my way, but you got to have communications and a transponder. And shortly, ADS-B out. But anyhow, that's all they need. Those 3 gyros are covered up. What else does somebody need before solo? Well, before solo, we'll pull up, we'll take off and let them start using the gyros. But this is, let's get them to learn to fly. Use that piece of plexiglass. Look out. There's a world out there, including other aircraft. I want to thank, here are the companies in Cincinnati who have some of the graduates from the University of Cincinnati's program. I want to thank them all for hiring our people. And even better than that, here are 5 companies and 6 companies in Cincinnati who have co-op programs with the university in some form or another. Maybe it's only a 3-day program, maybe it's a week, maybe it's all summer, but it's some kind of learning at your flight department. We'll take any more we can get. We love it. And with that, thank you very much for recognizing what Sporties has done. I think I only have another, 30 or 40 good years, and I'm going to make the best of it. Okay, thank you, and safe flying.
Thank you, Hal. Hal, thank you very much. If I live to have another 20 years, which would take me to about 50 in this industry, and have 10% of the experience and have done 10% of the things that Hal has done, I would consider that a pretty successful career. I don't know how you managed to fit it all in, Hal. It's amazing. Thank you for what you do here locally, never mind nationally, but locally. And I love the idea of someone who has progressed through the entire gamut of technology and avionics and that 172 light where you start covering things up. And I think that's a wonderful thing. We should do more of it.